So to start with, we have Clive Rosfield, who is the protagonist of Final Fantasy 16. So despite all the visual effects he has going on with his moves, he is actually very simple to play. He has really strong space control with the range on his swords on specific moves. He has deadly 50-50s with the Phoenix Dash stance, which I'll elaborate more on later. So at this point in time, I think he's a really strong character, so let's dig deep into him. In the pinned comments below my video, there will be a full written tutorial / transcript, and you can read that if you want something visual to read. So he has a meter mechanic below his health bar. So what this does is it buffs the damage on one move, which is his 1+4, aka Sansetsuken. This is what happens when we have level 5. It does 80 damage and removes all grey life, so you can see it's very powerful. You can build this bar up through various moves. So these moves include 1-2 is 10 frame punish, 2-2 1+2 as a combo ender, his Phoenix 3 1+2, which builds a chunk, it's like a health sweep out of his stance, which I'll talk about more. You can build it from his combo ender with Phoenix 2-2, which also builds it. He has 4-4-2, which just save mid's counter launcher. You can also do Phoenix Heat Smash, which builds a big chunk. And his back 3 parry follow-ups will give him this. So at level 5 it does a lot of damage, but due to its unsafeness and slow startup, it's better to use as a combo ender. So for example, it's better to use a combo ender. So if you have level 3 or more, it seems worth it to burnish, because level 5 can be a bit difficult to build. But if you have level 3, it will still do more damage than his normal staple combos. So it's not a bad idea to burnish a bit earlier, just to not go to level 5, because in most cases, you won't be able to use the level 5. That's kind of how the mechanic works. It's not super important, and you're probably going to win most of your matches without having to use it, but it is there if you need to use it in the final end. It's up to the Clive player to determine when to burnish or save for the level 5. So let's talk about Clive's heat. So what does heat do for him? He has a doggy called Torgal, right? So any move that involves Torgal will do more damage. So that, for example, will do more damage. So any move that involves Torgal, the little doggy, will do more damage. He also gets some string extensions, such as Phoenix 2 1+2, only favorable in heat, up 1+2 string, only favorable in heat, 4-2-1, and 4-2 charge 1 for the guard break. And in heat, he has heat smashes, so obviously, so that's his normal heat smash, and he has one from the Phoenix stance, which builds a lot of the Odin bar. And in my opinion, this one is better mid-screen, while the normal one is better versus the wall, because it gives a lot plus frames. It's up to the Clive player how they want to use the heat smash, but in my opinion that's the best usage of it. And of course his downward 1 string, which is probably the best addition in heat. He gets a lot of extensions with his downward 1 string, which I'll talk about more later on. But yeah, that's kind of his heat in a nutshell. So let's talk about moves that you're going to be using with Clive in the neutral. So first of all, jab. Jab is important for every character, and with Clive it's no different. Jab is there to kind of apply pressure to the opponent, but also it can be used as a keep out tool because it is your fastest move. So you can kind of like poke with the jab and establish a pressure game or a keep out game with this. From the jab you have some extensions. You have 1-1, which is jailing, and it goes into Phoenix stance. So if you punish with 1-1, you get guaranteed Phoenix attempt, which is really nice. You have 1-4-2, which is a plus and block high extension. On counter hit, this is natural. So this can be really nice to use against the wall. So if you interrupt your opponent with the jab and you commit to the extension, you will get the wall splat. Just be careful because they can duck the high, obviously, but it's up to you to use it sparingly to throw them off guard. You also have 1-2, but to be honest, this is just for punishment, so keep that strictly to punishment. Let's talk about his Danforth 1. Now, his Danforth 1 is 14 frame startup, which means it's slower than your average Danforth 1, which are typically 13 frame, and the frames are not the best on hits, so his poking game is a little bit on the weaker side, but he has a lot of tools to make up for this. He has Danforth 1-2, which is a mid-high, and this goes into the Phoenix stance, which I will talk about in this own section. Now, it is a high, so you need to be careful. He has Danforth 1-2-1, which is all natural, so if you hit your opponents with this, the rest is guaranteed. And it can be useful to make them not try to punish this. So if they try to interrupt this, you can continue the extension. Now, I don't recommend this too often, but it is there. If they try to duck this, because it's a high, if you try to duck, you have Danforth 1-4, which is a mid, so if they try to duck the high, you can catch them with the mid afterwards. This has an extension with the 3, but this is only for combo filler. Like, don't do this in neutral, unless you really want to catch them pressing buttons after it doesn't block, but generally, it's too unsafe to try that. In heat, he gains access to a mid, so it becomes a lot scarier to duck this. So if you think your opponent's going to try and duck this to not allow you to do the Phoenix mix-up, in heat, you can start to throw out this more often. And in heat, he has loads of extension. And to be honest, as far as I know, there's no counterplay to this string. So it's pretty much free chip damage. Very, very strong string in heat. Very, very strong. Another move you're going to do a lot with Clive is 4-2. So 4-2 has a bunch of strings, right? We have 4-2-1, so similar to jab into 4-2. 4-2-1 is natural combo on normal hits. It is really plus on hits. It wall splats, as you can see. So you're going to use this to poke wish, but you're going to use 4-2 in general a lot because it's 15 frame. The range is really, really good. Now, what else do we have from 4-2? So if you're looking to stop this, you have 4-2-2, which is a safe mid follow-up. So if they duck 4-2-1, you can catch them with the mids. Now the strong thing about 4-2-2 is it's all natural on counter hit, and it's a heat engager. And while you're in heat, this string is really strong to do as a heat engager. Now 4-2-2, super good in my opinion. In heat, we have access to 4-2 forward 1. So that's 4-2-2 forward 1. This is +2 on block. It does really good chip damage, so it's good to like lock down the opponent with this move, right? Now, the cheap thing about this string is only in heat, you have a guard break, which gives you guaranteed 1+2 afterwards. So 4-2-1, forward 1, hold the charge, and then 1+2. Very, very strong, just to catch them off guard, Now, this move it's insane. Like, for me, this might be the best mid in the game because it has so much range. It's 16 frame startup. It's a heat engager. It's really hard to step. Like, this move might as well be homing. It's really difficult to step. So this is gonna be like one of your most spammable moves with Clive. Like, anytime you want to like poke at the opponent, just do forward 1+2. Now, the only thing with this move is, while it's safe, it is pretty minus in the opponent's face. So, yes, it is safe, but you will lose your turn. Your opponent gets a free mix-up attempt, right? So, be a little bit careful with this. But otherwise, it is really, really amazing. And in heat, of course, it's a heat dash launcher, right? So, if you heat dash this, you get a full combo. Amazing. 2-2-2. Is also really, really strong. The last hit is safe on counter hit. it's natural anyway. You don't need counter hit, it's natural combo anyway. But the good thing is, save mid-ender, so they have to power crush this, or they have to parry it, and of course you can play around this. You can bait out the power crush, you can bait out the parry and punish them, right? If the last hit hits on counter hit, there goes Torgal, right? And then you get a Phoenix Dash mix-up. So, this string can be okay sometimes to throw out. But to be honest, 4-2-2 is better, and definitely 4-1+2 is better. But it's just another string if you want it. Another string I like is 3-2. The reason I like this move is because it pushes the opponent away. So, and if you have Torgal active in heat, it will do even more damage, right? But this just pushes the opponent away back into Clive's like optimal range where he can bully with 4-2, he can bully with 4-1+2, and so on, right? Another move you want to use a lot is Dump for 2. Now, this move is strictly for whip punishment. So if you see your opponent whip something, this is your go-to whip punisher. So it's 15 frame, it has really nice range, surprisingly. If you're outside of Dump for 2 range, then you can use 4-1+2 to whip punish instead. So you have two to go to whip punishers really. Another move you want to use a lot is back 2. Back 2 because it goes into Phoenix stance. And if you hit back 2, you can very easily confirm this. If you hit back 2, you get follow-ups guaranteed. Or you can even do the 1+2 for the hit engage. I'll talk about Phoenix more later on, like I said, but yeah, back 2 is super good. And this is mainly a combo filler as well, so it's there to give a float, like a strong area floats in combos. So yeah, back 2 is pretty insane in my opinion. So when you've conditioned opponents and knocked up Clive at range because of 4-2, because of 4-1+2, then back 2 will start to become more useful, super strong. So let's talk about Clive's lows. Then 1 is going to be your main low poke. It high crushes, it tracks a little bit, so you're just going to annoy the opponents with this, right? You're going to harass them. You're in crouching afterwards, so if you think they're going to press a button, you can do while standing forward to check them. So this is just going to be like, hey, stop doing that to me, and when they start ducking this, bam bam, you get the idea with 4-1+2. So yeah, just a little harassing low poke. It's only -13 on block, so it's not too bad. If you want a beefier low, then we have Denmark 4. Denmark 4, it's a lot more risky because it is launch punchable. However, it does do more damage. It forces them in crouch, which limits their movement options. And on counter hit, it's a launcher. So yeah, Denmark 4, if you want a bit of a more of a power low, just don't be too obvious with it, as it is launch punchable. His other low is Denver 3-1. I wouldn't use this because it is very slow. It's 29 frame startup, which is quite slow. So the opponents can react to it. You can use this maybe very sparingly to high crush, and it's mainly used as a combo ender, for example. So after heat dash, this is your max damage ender, for example, so it has some combo usage, but in a neutral, not so much. FC Temper 2 is a really nice low poke because, first of all, it's a weapon, so they cannot low parry this. It has really good range, the damage is decent, and it's only -12 on block, which is not that unsafe at all. So yeah, pretty useful. And to mix the FC Temper 2 with, you have moves like What's Standing 3, which is a safe homie mids. You have lows in Phoenix stance, which I'll talk about a little bit more later on. So Phoenix 4 and Phoenix Hell Sweep, but I will elaborate on that in the Phoenix section. So let's talk about Clive's homing moves. Now, to be honest, even though 4-1+2 is not technically homing, the tracking is amazing, so I feel like there's not a lot of reason to use his other homing moves because of the strength of 4-1+2. But let's talk about them anyway. So back 1 is actually decent, to be honest. If you know Kasuya's Temper 2, it's quite similar, it's just a little bit slower. So back 1 is a counter launcher, first of all, so you get a full combo starter. It is -13 on block, so you have to be a little bit careful with it. However, the range or the block stun on this move is really short, so your opponent has to be super ready for it. And if he space out at range, it can be a little bit more awkward to whip punish or to block punish. So back one is pretty nice in my opinion. And on hits, you're plus 10, so it's big advantage. He has Phoenix 3+4, which is a plus 7 on block mids. That comes out of Phoenix stance. Really, really strong. And again, I'll elaborate on Phoenix later on. But this is another homing he has. Damper 3, it's also homing, but honestly, please don't use this. Damak 1, it's super good in my opinion. So Damak 1 is a 17 frame high. It's pretty strong in my opinion. It wall splats. Yeah, there you go, wall splats for a full combo. The range is quite nice. It's pretty chunky on normal hits, but the best thing about this is it's a counter launcher. So you're going to use this at plus frames. So you're going to use this quite often at plus frames to frame trap the opponent and also stop him from stepping. So yeah, this is good. While standing 3 is a move I mentioned earlier. It's safe on block. The doggy comes out and it wall splats as well. So if you're mixing this with your FC Damper 2, you can use this to stop him from stepping and also stop him from ducking. And remember, when your feet's active, the doggy does more damage. So these are his homings. So let's talk about some other moves that Clive has that I don't really have a category for, but they are just very good. The first move is 1+2. 1+2 is a 13 frame mids with pretty good range. It's safe on block at -9. It's a heat engager. It tracks in one direction. So you're going to use this move when you're interrupting your opponent's pressure or when you want to frame trap them. So let's say +4 into 1+2. Just to catch them stepping and ducking or pressing buttons, right? So it's a really, really strong tool. You can also do it from crouch as well, with while standing 1+2. And this is guaranteed after certain things, like Phoenix 4 on counter hit will give you 1+2. This guard brick string will give you 1+2 afterwards. So yeah, this move is super, super good in my opinion. Interrupt the opponent's pressure with this, use it as a keep edge because of the range. There's so much you could do. Very good move. Sidestep 2-1 is another move with Clive. Also a heat engager. It's a mid. Now, the thing is, the follow-up is unsafe on block. However, it has a very big hit confirm window. So you see the sidestep 1 connect, and then you continue to 1. So there's a lot of time to hit confirm this, and I would recommend that you do hit confirm it. In heat, it's a combo starter, so it's a pretty good heat dasher if you want it. So yeah, make sure you hit confirm it, and it's a strong move. Back 1+2 is his power crush. So if you want a move that's, you know, like a panic tool kind of thing, you can use back 1+2. The thing with back 1+2 is you can actually space it a little bit to make it awkward to punish. So if you're like a bit further away, for example, you can make this really difficult to punish for some characters. So back 1+2 is pretty useful in my opinion as like a keep out, anti-pressure kind of tool, right? And of course it was splats. Back 3 is a parry that he has. It starts up in 5 frame. So parry all highs and all mids, and then you get follow-ups with the Sunset Dukin. So if you do back 3 and press a follow-up parry, and it builds up a lot of the Odin meter. So back 3 is really, really strong in my opinion. Like it parries a lot of things, so definitely worth using. Another move is back 4. Back 4 is another counter tool that you could use. So back 4 is a counter launcher. So you get a full combo here. Now I'm not sure what's optimal, but it is a counter launcher anyway. On normal hits, you get a lot of plus frames. You're plus 16, so you can kind of do whatever you want here, right? The only thing is, it's a little bit slow and linear, but totally useful for sure. Another move is while running 2. While running 2, it's quite slow and linear. However, on block, you get guaranteed Phoenix mix-up, right? So they have to take this Phoenix mix-up because you're plus 14 going into Phoenix, so they have to take the mix-up here. So it's really, really, really good. If you connect this on normal hits, you get follow-ups guaranteed. So it's pretty nice in my opinion. So let's talk about his Phoenix Shift, or some people call it Phoenix Dash. So this is going to be Clive's main mix-up stance. It's very accessible from a lot of his options, i.e. his punishment. So for example, 1-1 into Phoenix, while sending 4 into Phoenix, 4-2-2 into Phoenix, then 1-2 into Phoenix, 4-4 into Phoenix, back 2 into Phoenix, while running 2 into Phoenix. So you have a couple of options. Those are like the main ones, and you can also do it raw with 4-4 as well. If you make the opponent respect Clive from moves like 4-1+2, 4-2, you make them scared to attack and approach Clive because of moves like these. This is where we can do raw Phoenix in neutral and force the mix up, right? So what does he have out of Phoenix? So first move I'm going to talk about is Phoenix 1. So Phoenix 1 is an unsafe power crush from the stance. So let's say for example, you go into Phoenix from a move that's like minus on block into the transition. So if you think your opponent's going to try and retaliate, you can use Phoenix 1 to interrupt them because of the power crush property. Bit of a risky mind game, but it is there if you want to be an annoying bastard, to be honest. So Phoenix 2 is going to be Clive's like combo ender in general. So it's going to be like his main combo ender. So this is Phoenix 2. It side switches and it builds Odin meter and block. However, you can do Phoenix 2-1 for a carry. So let's say for example, so Phoenix 2-1 for like a wall carry option. So you have some options here. I wouldn't really do them in a mix-up scenario because they are pretty unsafe on block, and you have way better mids for this. After moves like back 2, the Phoenix stuff will become guaranteed. After while running 2-1 hits, you can follow up with the Phoenix 2. So this is like your main usage of the Phoenix stuff. However, in Heat, he gains access to Phoenix 2 1+2, which is very, very abusable. This is what you want to do in mix-ups, because it does chip damage, and it's +4 on block. So this move is really, really strong in my opinion. So if you want to make them scared to duck, this is the main move, right? So Phoenix 2 1+2 is super, super strong in Heat as a plus and block mid option in his mix-ups. We talk about his mids. How do we make them duck? So Phoenix 3 into the 2 is a hell sweep move that he has. Now the strong thing about his hell sweep is he has a hell sweep follow-up with this. And remember, in Heat, this will do more damage. 8 more damage. Now the good thing about this hell sweep is it will wall break for a full combo, right? So if your opponent's back to a breakable wall, this will give you a full combo. And the other thing is, with Phoenix 3 1+2 is his other Phoenix follow-up of the hell sweep. So Phoenix 3 1+2, it gives the Odin meter, as you can see, it's building up there. And the other thing about this is, if you're on a floor blast stage or floor interruptible stage or whatever, this will give you a full combo. So the hell sweep is really, really strong because you can get wall break combo for a full combo, or you can get floor blast combo for a full combo. So it's amazing. Like, this hell sweep is amazing. Now, if you don't want something this committal, because it is launch punchable on block, right? So you have to be careful with this because it is launch punchable on block. So you need to be a bit careful with this. However, we have a safer low option. We have Phoenix 4. Phoenix 4 is a much safer load than the hell sweep. So if you don't have belief in your reads in terms of low options, you can opt for Phoenix 4, because Phoenix 4 is only -13, so you're not going to get punished too hard against most characters. On counter hit, it gives you +13, which means you can do 1+2, or you can do while standing 1-2. And this move can be pretty abusable from range, because it has a lot of range, right? So you can approach a neutral with this and make them afraid of the low, right? Let's talk about some of his other mids. So his Phoenix 3+4, I really, really love this move. It's +7 on block, it does chip damage, it is quite slow, but if your opponent is really respecting the Phoenix mix-up, then you can sneak this in as a mid option while keeping yourself, plus giving yourself more momentum. I like to do this after 1-2, for example. So knock them down with the 10 frame punish, the attack roll, and then you can make them block this. this is a situation I like it in, and when they respect that, that's when you can start doing your lows, right? So it's a really chunky mid option, and of course it has its homing, so if you try to step, it will catch them. I really love this at the wall because it will wall splat them for a full combo, so it's super strong in my opinion. His other mid option that you can use is Phoenix 1+2. Phoenix 1+2 is nice because it's a heat engager, right? And on hit, it gives you a follow-up with Done for 3. Now, Phoenix 1+2 is guaranteed after back 2, which is really nice. If you want a quicker option, so this is quicker than 3+4, so if you need something quicker, you can go for the Phoenix 1+2, and while you're in heat, you can heat dash it to be +5, do jit damage, and still keep up the momentum. So it's good. Phoenix 1+2 is good, and of course it wall splats. So if you're near the wall, it will wall splat as well. So this is one of the mid options you could use in Phoenix stance. While Clive has heat, he has Phoenix 1+2 or Phoenix 2+3, which is the heat smash. This is nice because it builds a lot of Odin meter. So as you can see, it builds a full bar and a little bit, and even on block, it will still build a big chunk. Well, it doesn't show it there properly, but it does. So, and you can use this in the Phoenix mix-up, but if you think your opponent's gonna duck for the low, or for the house sweep, or whatever, you can use this to be a mid option, because it's a real true mid. You can stay plus on block. So if you want to keep momentum going, you can use this, and if it hits, great, you get damage and load Odin meter. If they block it, you're still +8, and you can do so many things at +8, so this is super good in my opinion. But yeah, that's kind of his Phoenix stance in a nutshell. Super accessible through Raw, or through Punishment, or through strings, such as this. So you have a lot of options going to Phoenix, so you're going to be doing this a lot. So as you can see, he has very strong neutral control with port 1+2 and the range on his swords. So he has amazing space control. He has super good approach with the Phoenix shift stance, and of course the mix-ups 1+2, house sweeps, Phoenix 4, Phoenix 3+4. So he has really strong mix-ups, really strong space control. So I think overall he's a very strong character. Now, I wasn't too pleased with the character's enhancement, but I think the character's grown on me a little bit. Honestly though, I still prefer Tifa Lockhart, but we'll take what we can get, I guess. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, you know the usual business. Thank you very much.